Hey, I'm Mac. Welcome back to my channel. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe and consider joining my Patreon for access to new videos 12 to 24 hours early, as well as some Patreon exclusive content. You may have noticed in the past couple of years that there's a certain stench of dystopia in the air. I think that what has occurred is we had these tech companies with genuinely good and innovative ideas, such as Apple with the mouse, graphical user interface, the iPhone, or Google with the search engine to end all search engines. Email that wasn't shitty and clunky, and a web browser that massively expanded the web's capabilities and delivered an experience that blew away anything before it, or Microsoft's revolutionary new anti-competitive practices and groundbreaking methods of getting away with stealing copyrighted source code from other companies. But now, all those people that had the good ideas and products that people actually wanted are either retired or dead. And so we're left with a bunch of business people with no actually good ideas because they never had to have one to get to where they were. They just had to be a profit maximizing, cost-cutting bean counter who's never had a creative thought or enthusiasm for anything other than making as much money as possible in their entire lives. And these people also tend to have no curiosity about anything, and I think this is partially because they usually exhibit a level of arrogance that the rest of us are biologically incapable of, and arrogance is mostly incompatible with curiosity. Result of this incuriousness and arrogance, they think that they're the smartest person on earth and that the products, employees, and customers of the corporation they've been handed the reins to are fundamentally beneath them. Why would they learn about their own product or how it works or anything about the people who buy it? The only reason this company isn't making line go up faster is because the rest of the people working here are not as smart as they are, obviously. They also are desperate for you to think that they're cool and a good person and respected and liked. They're absolutely desperate for that. That's why making fun of them brings me so much joy. It's the one thing they will never have, and the one thing we can do that truly bothers them. This means that they fill their orbits with yes men and sycophants, all of them fundamentally incurious and uncool, because nobody with fresh ideas, human compassion, and any level of inquisitiveness about the world could stand interacting with them for more than 4 seconds if they can possibly avoid it. The result is an unending torrent of utterly worthless products and services that nobody wants and nobody asked for to solve problems that nobody has ever had, and a roadmap for achieving a goal that is pure fantasy and impossible to accomplish with the technology they described. It feels like every day we have a new thing to be worried about. From tech bros, general business morons with too much influence, billionaires, and the overall dystopian output of a rapidly decaying Silicon Valley, to the point where I feel that I need to start doing something about it and fighting back by pulling the only lever of any power that I have access to and a natural propensity and talent for, and that is mocking and generally making fun of them. So, welcome to a new category of video I'll be posting from time to time. This is Mac to the Future. So, the Facebook Metaverse is dead. Well, the virtual reality part, at least. I know. I was as shocked about this as you are. The term Metaverse comes from the 1992 dystopian science fiction cyberpunk novel Snow Crash, written by Neil Stephenson, in which people interact with each other on a 3D virtual reality space owned by a megacorporation, with some members choosing to remain connected to the metaverse at all times. But see, there's a fundamental problem with the cyberpunk genre, and that is that it typically is supposed to present a dystopian, undesirable future while simultaneously looking kind of really cool. Think of movies like Blade Runner and The Matrix, or games like Deus Ex, one of the best PC games of all time.
How are the drinks here? Great, if you like hot piece. Never tried it.
Cyberpunk 2077, and my personal favorite, System Shock 2. Don't play it, you won't like it. All of which depict an objectively horrific version of the future where everybody is so cool and everything looks kind of sick, though. Tangent. Just indulge me for a second. I just need to say really quick that Cyberpunk 2077 is so bad. And not because of the glitches it had on release, okay? It's bad because the story is so stupid. And then on top of that, it's extremely poorly executed. It basically yada yadas through what would have been the most interesting parts of the story and allowed you to actually feel connected to any of the characters, including the player character named V, like as if that's a name, and who, by the way, is a complete idiot and makes terrible choices at several key points that you're forced to just helplessly watch because the game decided to make it a cutscene. Because if they hadn't railroaded you by making it a cutscene, too many people would have been like, I'm not going there. That seems like a stupid thing to do. But the story is stupid, so they need you to do the stupid thing because they didn't write a smart version of the story. V, this guy clearly has no money. He's in what appears to be a crack house motel, my guy. Something's off. Let's go somewhere else. There's no way in hell I'm going into this guy's bathroom when he's acting all weird. Let's leave. Oh, wait, we can't leave. Fine. Then let's equip a weapon. Oh, we can't do that either. Do you know why? Because they didn't write a version of the story where V isn't a fucking idiot. It's absolutely infuriating. Like, wow. That's great that I can customize V's penis, but I can't make him make smarter choices. 5 stars, 10 out of 10. A+, you guys. Incredible, perfect, no comments. Okay, back on topic, sorry. Meta, I used to refuse to call them anything other than Facebook, but now that the metaverse is dead, I will absolutely only be referring to them as Meta from now on. Meta has stated that they will be shutting down their virtual reality metaverse, Horizon Worlds, so that they can instead redirect their resources and efforts into artificial incompetence. Sorry. I mean, artificial intelligence. That's a can of worms we just don't have time to get into in this video, but rest assured, there's going to be several episodes of Mac to the Future about the AI cult everybody in Silicon Valley has joined, okay? And yes, it's a bubble, and yes, it's a cult. I know there are some people out there who are like very excited about virtual reality, but I don't know, man. I've been saying this ever since like 2014 when we started to see more devices coming to market, and that is I don't see this taking off. Maybe I'm a hater, but first of all, you look like such a dork wearing that thing, and that might sound superficial, but it's a very real obstacle. You look stupid. There's no fucking way I'm going to wear one of those in public. Absolutely not. Second of all, the fact that it is obstructing your eyes is a problem if you're expecting me to use a VR headset as much as I use my phone, because I can't really multitask if I'm wearing a VR headset. It is monopolizing my senses and my attention pretty heavily. I can't like quickly check in on something in a virtual reality headset. It's not practical. Third of all, the ergonomics are they're not as adaptable as a smartphone or like even the smart watch. To get an experience good enough to be acceptable for the durations of use they show for the metaverse, it has to fit perfectly on your face. Faces vary pretty widely in dimensions and shape. It's not like a phone where you can make one that's big and another that's smaller and like you're good to go. Okay. Mark Zuckerberg in particular was constantly saying it was going to be the next big computing platform similar to the smartphone. And I just think that's further evidence of being out of touch, because With the smartphone, it was immediately obvious how that could be useful. You didn't have to like come up with use cases for it from scratch like you do with VR. When the iPhone came out in 2007, it had some major flaws and it was very expensive, which for most people meant that they weren't going to get one right away. But just about everybody could see why a device like that could be extremely useful. The issue was just that it was way, way, way too expensive for most people at the time. And so they held off on buying an iPhone or a similar smartphone for a few years. The situation was nothing like the situation for VR. Meta bought Oculus in 2014. So let's consider the start point for VR development, just for the sake of simplicity, to be 2014, okay? In 2014, 1% of people in the US owned a VR headset. In 2018, 4 years later, that was estimated at 11%. And in 2020, 6 years after Meta bought Oculus and a full year before they'd announced the Metaverse, that was estimated to be 16%. That is nothing like smartphones. In 2007, 6% of people had a smartphone, and it was already passing 17%. And it was already passing 17% by 2009. In 2011, which was 4 years later, that was 42%. And in 2013, which was 6 years after the iPhone was introduced, it was already at 65%. That is a wildly different market response. I feel like anybody could have told you that it wasn't going to happen beyond being like a somewhat niche, novel, new gaming platform similar to consoles. And yet, Zuck pressed forward with the metaverse, somehow convinced that this was going to be the next big thing, TM, proudly announcing it in 2021, and then losing $80 billion poured into it over the next 5 years. Reputable estimates for solving world hunger tend to be around $40 billion per year. But obviously, this is a lot cooler than that, you guys. And now that it's dead, I thought this would be a really fun time to take a look back at the announcements and predictions that were made about the metaverse. Because we're currently hearing very similarly overinflated, out of touch, unsettlingly delusional proclamations about AI from many of the same people who were talking about and shoveling an ungodly amount of money and resources into the now dead metaverse. So we're going to take a trip back to 2021 and take a look at the first announcement at Meta Connect 2021, all right? Because I think it's got some choice moments.
Hey, and welcome to Connect. Today, we're going to talk about the metaverse. I want to share what we imagine is possible, the experiences you'll have, the creative economy we'll all build, and the technology that needs to be invented, as well as how we're going to all do this together.
Yeah. If he's already making your skin crawl, me too. It's all part of the Mark Zuckerberg experience. The fact that he continues to appear in stuff like this suggests that he truly does not grasp how he comes across to other human beings. Like, it really makes me think he must truly surround himself with yes men, which would also explain why he's proposing what he's about to propose here, okay?
The basic story of technology in our lifetimes is how it's given us the power to express.
Okay, but is it though? Is that the story?
Back when I started Facebook, that mostly meant text that we typed on computers. Then we all got phones with cameras, and the internet became much more visual. And recently, as connections got faster, video has become the main way that we experience content. We've gone from desktop to web to phones, from text to photos to video, but this isn't the end of the line. The next platform and medium will be even more immersive, an embodied internet where you're in the experience, not just looking at it. And we call this the metaverse. And you're gonna be able to do almost anything you can imagine. Get together with friends and family.
But Jan, you don't have any friends.
Work, learn, play, shop, create, as well as entirely new categories that don't really fit how we think about computers or phones today.
Okay, but like, is that the story of technology though? I feel like that's a very simplified story. And I also feel like you're making the fundamental error that I kind of alluded to earlier. And that is that people who are really into VR tend to vastly overestimate the level of interest that the general public has in trying it. Like, they think that the lack of interest is due to like technological hurdles with VR or like something to do with the content or the devices, but like it really is just most people are not interested in VR. They're just not interested in trying it, especially not at work. Okay. But, you know, let's go to the next clip.
We believe the metaverse will be the successor to the mobile internet.
And that is your fundamental error. Also, is that barbecue sauce on the bookshelf behind you? Please explain.
We'll be able to feel present, like we're right there with people, no matter how far apart we actually are. We'll be able to express ourselves in new, joyful, completely immersive ways, and that's going to unlock a lot of amazing new experiences. When I send my parents a video of my kids, they're gonna feel like they're right in the moment with us, not peering through a little window.
How?
When you play a game with your friends, you'll feel like you're right there together in a different world, not just on your computer by yourself.
Yeah. You'll be in your room wearing a VR headset, which means you'll be alone and you'll look stupid. Notice how they don't show anyone in this video actually wearing a VR headset, despite that being like the fundamental technological component to this experience. Nobody's wearing a VR headset in this announcement because they look stupid.
And when you're in a meeting in the metaverse, it'll feel like you're right in the room together, making eye contact, having a shared sense of space, and not just looking at a grid of faces on a screen.
Okay, but you're not making eye contact and you are still staring at a screen. It's just a screen that is really close to your eyes. Like, what are you talking about? Your parents have to be older than mine, Zuckerberg, okay? They don't know how to use a VR headset, and it's actually easier for them to look at a screen than to try to put that thing on correctly and get it working, only to have to like turn their heads and move around while using it correctly if they want to get the whole picture. Like, I'm sorry, my parents are over 80 years old. They're not going to wear a VR headset. And I know that yours must be as well, Zuckerberg. What are you talking about? You going to make them do that? Are you serious? Like, the screen, despite being a little window to look through, as you say, was working just fine for them. It works great for them, actually, especially with like the really bright, really sharp screens that they've been putting on phones in the past like 5-10 years. That's made it really easy for them to read the screen and see everything that's on it. And the screens are bigger, so it's easier to see everything. Like, that's because looking at a screen is easy and it's like easy to understand. Whereas putting on a VR headset is relatively laborious, especially if you have like limited range of motion. That's not like an easy thing to put on, because you know you gotta fit it correctly. It's got to be like sealed. You gotta get the seal around the face and everything, or else you get like light leaking in, and you get nauseous. And I have to imagine like senior citizens probably would get kind of nauseous from this if they don't have it perfect. And you know, you gotta get the straps, you know, correctly adjusted. You gotta do all fiddling. That's hard to do if you don't have the best like grip strength and like the best like ability to reach your arms behind your head and stuff, like, which could be pretty tough to do. Like, I don't know, man. It just seems like kind of a pain in the ass, especially when like my elderly parents don't have to like move their head around to look at something on a screen. They can just go like this to look at more of the content. They can just go like this. They understand that. They understand pinching and pulling in to zoom things in and stuff like that. That's clear to them. That's easy for them to do. It's easy for them to go like this. But like having to like do all this shit, like, are you kidding me? Well, like what?
Screens just can't convey the full range of human expression and
Well, neither can you, Mark, but like they still haven't replaced you with a VR headset at Meta. Jesus Christ. What are you talking about? Screens can't convey the full expression of human emotions. What are you talking about? Have you never seen a movie? What? Like, what do you mean?
Now, the best way to understand the metaverse is to experience it yourself, but it's a little tough because it doesn't fully exist yet. Some of the basic building blocks are here though, and others are starting to emerge as we speak. We're starting to get a sense of how it could all come together and what it could feel like. So today we're gonna do something a little bit different. Rather than just focusing on this year's products like a normal keynote, we're gonna talk about the future.
Okay, that might be my favorite thing a CEO has ever said. That's incredible. Incredible. Like, they wrote that down and Mark said it and they recorded it, they edited it, and they were like, perfect. That does not make it sound like we are a lost company aimlessly flailing because we don't have any good ideas, but we need a product to keep growing, but we don't have any ideas for products because all the creative people are gone and we're just left with bean counters. Incredible. Zuckerberg clearly thinks of himself like he's like Steve Jobs, especially given the outfit. And I think that comparison lends support to my hypothesis about the decay of Silicon Valley. Let's contrast Zuckerberg's reveal of a product that doesn't exist yet with the reveal of the MacBook Air by Steve Jobs.
And so let me go ahead and show it to you now. This is it. Let me take it out here. This is the new MacBook Air, and you can get a feel for how thin it is. Yeah, there it is. Look at this.
Okay, see what I mean? Do you see how Steve Jobs is holding an actual working product that has an obvious value proposition? Like, you can see it, it's right there in his hands, as in the MacBook Air that he's revealing is in his hands to show people, and it's available for purchase. Okay, right there. And he pulled it out of the envelope, which shows the audience the main feature of the MacBook that again exists. It shows off the feature that it is very thin, that it is thinner than any other laptop, that it is the world's thinnest laptop. Look how thin it is. You can buy one right now. like, like, notice how he did not go out on stage and say, I want to show you how thin the MacBook Air is, but that's kind of tough because it doesn't exist yet. But we're going to show you how thin we imagine that it could be. We can imagine a really thin MacBook Air to be released in the future sometime. So instead of a normal keynote, we're just going to hypothesize and speculate wildly about what might be possible in the future. Like, just trust me. It doesn't exist now, but like in the future, it's gonna exist. Like, we just get a bunch of tech bros talking a bunch of bullshit about how like, yeah, their product is shitty now, but But like in the future, it's totally not going to be shitty, okay? Like it's going to be like awesome. Like it's going to be amazing. Like $5 trillion idea, you guys. Like, okay, yeah, that's great. Why don't you come back when you have an actual product with like actual value that exists and like is ready to go? Like, can you just like, that's fine. Like you don't have to announce it until it's ready. It's all good. Let's go to the next clip. So this is how you're going to hang out with your friends in the metaverse. You ready for this?
Is that you?
Of course it's me. You know I had to be the robot, man.
I thought I was supposed to be the robot.
Oh, Mark, look at the self-awareness. Listen, I would say something about how nice it is that you're able to laugh at yourself, but I can't say that because I'm actually not convinced that Mark Zuckerberg has the ability to laugh. Has anyone seen him do it? That's right. I didn't think so. Also, these graphics look like shit. Who is looking at this and being like, oh my God, I need to buy a VR headset right now so that I can engage in the metaverse. Doesn't that look fun? And this is like not even the actual product. This is, I remind you, what they imagine the product will like sort of be like. Like this is the vibes of the product that they're going for. Like they don't have the product, but like this is like kind of like the vibes they're going for. And it looks like shit. I get that it was 2021 and we still had a lot of like social distancing restrictions and stuff. But like I just don't agree that this is something that anybody wants or is impressed by or is like, ooh, let's get in on that. Really? No, I don't think so. Like, I just don't agree that this is better than a video call or just like chatting through text with friends or playing an actual game with friends, whether that's like something as casual as Overcooked or as hardcore as Counter-Strike. This just looks dorky, okay? And I don't mean nerdy, okay? Nerdy has cred, okay, and some value. Right? Nerdy is like StarCraft 2, okay? Like multiplayer online StarCraft 2. This shit is dorky. This shit cannot even construct additional pylons. In fact, it's not even aware that I've already pro-brushed it and built a pylon by their base that I'm currently warping in a photon cannon next to. Bye-bye. Bye. Yeah, I'm a Protoss bitch. I just don't see how something like this can provide more value or connection than playing a game or chatting via audio, video, text. I don't connect more from these 3D avatars. Like, it doesn't matter how similarly they look to my friends. Like, it's like, I don't know. That's not how humans work, Mark. Like I don't get more value from seeing my friends' 3D avatar than I get from seeing my friends' actual faces and their actual eyes and like their actual body. I don't know how else to explain that. That is that like you can't just like substitute this in for like that. It doesn't make sense. I don't connect with that. What is this? Why? It is such a strange proposal. And that's what really fascinates me about this. Like again, they dumped 80 billion into developing this stuff when it seems so incredibly obvious that to the vast majority of people, this is just completely devoid of any appeal. It just looks like shit. It doesn't look fun. It doesn't look like anything that I would be interested in. And like even if I were interested in like the concept of something like that, like why wouldn't I just play Fortnite or like any other online multiplayer game, especially like massively multiplayer ones like WoW or you know what I mean? Why? What is the point of this? I don't want to do VR, man. Like how does a company with the amount of personal data about everybody and the computational resources that Meta has get it so completely wrong? Is Mark really in that much of a yes man echo chamber? Like, how does this happen?
First, the feeling of presence. This is the defining quality of the metaverse. You're going to really feel like you're there with other people. You'll see their facial expressions, you'll see their body language, maybe figure out if they're actually holding a winning hand. All the subtle ways that we communicate that today's technology can't quite deliver.
Mark, all you need for people to see your facial expression online is a fucking digital camera. What are you talking about?
Like, God, if only there were a way that you could see my expressions. Unfortunately, there's no way for today's technology to accomplish that. What are we gonna do? I'm just gonna have to wait until they invent the metaverse so that you guys can watch me in VR, because you know, you won't get today's technology. Like, you can't tell the expressions that I'm making. It doesn't come across. What you need is you need to see a 3D avatar of me doing cartoon versions of my expressions. You know, yeah. But until that day, you will never know the full range of my expressions because can't do it. It's not possible until we have 3D avatars that can fly around in digital space, which is obviously something that we all want. So my question is, why should we be taking anything Meta is saying now any more seriously than what they were saying with the metaverse? Like, if they could pour $80 billion into something this monumentally stupid, how are we to think that anything they're saying now about things like, I don't know, AI are not equally stupid? Like this entire idea, it is fractally stupid. Like the overall view of it, you know, you're at the most zoomed out level of this plan and it's completely so stupid. But then you like zoom in and you realize that like the tiny little parts are like identically stupid at every level of detail as the whole is. And like you just keep zooming in and you find out that like each component just branches into 50 million other equally stupid components. It's fractally stupid. Oh my God. And like, what do you mean this doesn't exist yet? This has been done before. Like 20 years ago. It's called Second Life. Like, and yeah, Second Life did not reach mainstream appeal because I'm sorry, but like this idea fundamentally does not have mainstream appeal. There's a community of people that it appeals to. That community has a delimited size. Okay. It doesn't have mainstream appeal. It just doesn't. We better, clearly we're missing something about this hot new idea, right? Let's hear some more.
Beyond avatars, there is your home space. You're going to be able to design it to look the way you want, maybe put up your own pictures and videos and store your digital goods. You're going to be able to invite people over, play games and hang out. You'll also even have a home office where you can work. Your home is your personal space from which you can teleport to anywhere you want. Now, speaking of teleporting, there are going to be all kinds of different spaces that people make. Rooms like the ones that we just saw, but also games and whole worlds that you can teleport in and out of whenever you want. Teleporting around the metaverse is going to be like clicking a link on the internet.
What are you talking about? Teleportation is an open standard.
Now, because I have been around for thousands of years, let's teleport so I don't get bored.
Okay, first of all, teleporting is only cool when it's cool in sci-fi because you are actually traveling across physical distance. Okay, it's not called teleporting when you're on the computer. Okay, you can go anywhere in digital space instantly. Shut up. It's not cool. Okay, no one cares, Mark. No one cares. Besides, it would actually be it's already just not cool and it never will be, but like it would be cooler if you didn't teleport. It would be cooler if you actually traveled from place to place. Just ask the people who played Starfield. Also, Meta can't even do a green screen key out correctly, and I'm supposed to trust them about buying real estate in the metaverse? Like, what are you even talking about? Is that how far into the future we are now? You know about teleportation and that it's an open standard, open teleport? Okay, sure. Listen, I'm looking forward to buying a virtual tent and living under a virtual overpass during the virtual housing crisis in the metaverse just as much as the next guy. But like, I'm still not sure why I want any of this. Like, I might need to be convinced a little more. Mark, do you have anything else?
You're going to be able to move across these different experiences on all kinds of different devices, sometimes using virtual reality so you're fully immersed, sometimes using augmented reality glasses so you can be present in the physical world as well, and sometimes on a computer or phone so you can quickly jump into the metaverse from existing platforms. There are going to be new ways of interacting with devices that are much more natural. Instead of typing or tapping, you're going to be able to gesture with your hands, say a few words, or even just make things happen by thinking about them.
Okay, first of all, what are you talking about? By thinking about them? That technology does not exist yet and is not close to existing for a consumer product like this, okay? And even if it did, there's no way in hell I would be letting Meta anywhere near me with that shit. Jesus Christ. You'd probably find like some ways to like play ads in my inner monologue or something. I'd have to get like ad block for my inner monologue. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm not an idiot like V in Cyberpunk 2077, okay? I'm not about to let anyone just like jack in and give me a brain dance like a moron, okay? That's another thing that you can't not do. You have to let the prostitute give you a brain dance. I don't think so, V. I think you're dumb. Why don't they put in a new intelligence chip, huh? Furthermore, yeah, it's going to be more natural. You know, when you have a VR headset on where you can't see shit and you're flailing your arms around talking to nobody in your house alone, that's really natural. When I think about natural interaction with technology, I'm like, man, it's so unnatural to type on a keyboard and look at a screen. I wish I were like stumbling around and like flailing aimlessly and talking to nobody with my eyes obstructed. Perfect. Can't wait. Amazing.
Your devices won't be the focal point of your attention anymore. Instead of getting in the way, they're going to give you a sense of presence in the new experiences that you're having and the people who you're with. And these are some of the basic concepts for the metaverse. And while this may sound like science fiction, we're starting to see a lot of these technologies coming together. In the next 5 or 10 years, a lot of this is going to be mainstream. And a lot of us will be creating and inhabiting worlds that are just as detailed and convincing as this one on a daily basis. So even though it's still a long way off, we're starting to work on some of these foundational concepts today.
Okay, by this one, did he mean like the room that he's in this presentation, or do you mean like this one, like the world? Because if he meant as convincing as the one that he's standing in, that's not convincing at all, actually. I'm not convinced by that at all. It looks like shit. It looks like a shitty game from like 2002, okay? And if he meant as convincing as this one, I also call bullshit, because you know what? I can touch this world. See, it's right here. This is paper, okay? This is my skin, okay? I can feel this world. I can smell this world. It's a lot realer, okay? And God damn it. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, he said 5 to 10 years later. It looks like, oh, gee, look at the time, 2026 already. So that is 5 years later, and none of this is mainstream. In fact, virtual reality market adoption is still only at 18%, and device sales continue to plummet, and the marketplace for VR continues to shrink. So it looks like that didn't work out for you, but whatever. Let's give it a chance, though. Let's see some more.
And that's because gaming provides many of the most immersive experiences, and it is the biggest entertainment industry by far. Gaming in the metaverse is going to span from immersive experiences in fantasy worlds to bringing simple games into our everyday lives through holograms. Maybe you'll play old games in new ways.
So, Barcelona, huh?
Well, it's not New York, but I like it.
New York misses you.
What's that?
I said, let me put my game face on so I can beat you.
Ah, okay. Check.
I gotta try another game face next time.
Okay, one, I feel so bad for these actors. I can't understand any of the trash talking. It doesn't make any sense. Did the trash talking between those two, did the dialogue make sense to anybody else? It made no sense to me. Like, New York misses you. Let me put my game. What the fuck? I don't understand that at all. That made no sense. Second of all, how is chess better in the metaverse? Why would anybody buy a VR headset to play chess? You can already play chess on Lee Chess. I realize that a lot of people play chess in suboptimal places like VR or on chess.com, you know, but that's just because more people have heard about chess.com because like Lee Chess doesn't do marketing. But like, I just don't understand why you would play chess in VR. Just seems a little bit unnecessary to me. Uh, Three, how could there possibly have been a check on the next move? That doesn't make sense. That's not possible. There's no way you could have checked his king without making like at least 3 moves because like he has pawns on f2, e3, and d2, so that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. If you look at the king and queen, the white and black are like mirror imaged. Doesn't make sense. The darker pieces are where white should be, but whatever. Okay. This is the best they could come up with for games? Are you serious with me right now? What is this? Okay, so I need to show you this next clip because I want to see, this is kind of an endurance test. I want to see if you can handle this interview any longer than I can without disintegrating into dust. Are you ready?
Gaming is how a lot of people are going to step into the metaverse for the first time. It already has some of the most fully built out digital goods and the most active creator and developer communities, and major platforms like Epic are working to build out the metaverse, starting with gaming. For our part, we're heavily investing in building a healthy VR and AR ecosystem, so the game studios can keep building and gaming creators can keep creating. Now, Deb from our studios team is joining me. Deb, do you want to take us through some of the exciting games in the pipeline for Quest?
Absolutely. Over the years, we've had the opportunity to work with incredible developers like Vertigo Games, the studio behind fan favorite Arizona Sunshine.
I love Arizona Sunshine. That game basically got me and my friends through the first few months of the pandemic.
That's awesome. If you enjoyed that, Mark, I think you'll be excited that we're partnering with Vertigo on 5 more great games from Deep Silver and others. We'll share more about this lineup very soon.
Nice.
Wow. So did they script this or like was that just like a natural, it's hard to tell like if that was scripted or not, or like I mean it was just it was such a natural conversation. And it just like really I don't know how anyone watched that back and was like, this is a perfect segment. It's in no way painfully stilted or so skin-crawlingly awkward that it makes you wish you could disintegrate into dust. No one will ever guess that we're body-snatching aliens just mastering the use of human arms. Woo.
What else is coming?
Well, the metaverse is constantly evolving. So one of the most important aspects will be live service games that launch updates and new downloadable content regularly, like Echo VR, Beat Saber, Onward, Pistol Whip, and more. We're focused on this a lot right now, making sure games can build out active communities. Beat Saber has a passionate community.
Oh, I love Beat Saber.
So do I. And Beat Saber just passed $100 million in lifetime revenue on Quest alone. It's a great example of a game that keeps releasing fresh content. They've actually been working on evolving the way that you interact with the tracks and feel the music. Also, the team has been working on something really cool. Check this out.
Is that it? I thought that was like the intro to what they were gonna show us. Why would you show us that? do they think we think that was cool? Like, what is going on? Sorry, I mean, what is going on? This is Meta. Meta makes like $300 billion a year in this.
Enough with the fun and games. It's time for everyone's favorite, work. Over the last year and a half, a lot of us who work in offices have gone remote. And while I miss seeing the people I work with, I think remote work is here to stay for a lot of people. So we're gonna need better tools to work together. Let's take a look at what working in the metaverse will be like. Imagine if you could be at the office without the commute. You would still have that sense of presence, shared physical space, those chance interactions that make your day.
I think this is a fascinating little nugget of what I'm going to call executive brain, where they fundamentally fail to grasp that their experience is not the same as their employees' experiences. Okay, chance interactions do not make our day. We don't care about that at all. We have expectations that have to be met, or else there are consequences on us that are put on us by you. It is not some pleasant ray of sunshine for your employees to see you. Sorry, but it's not, okay? We do not experience pleasure from seeing you. Our boss does not make us happy. Best case, we experience mild trepidation and dismay from seeing you. Worst case, outright fear, okay? Like, we don't want to be there. You want to be there because it makes you feel important, and it has made you wealthy beyond anything that any of us could hope to ever scrape together in our pathetic lives. We are there because we need money for food and shelter and clothing, and working for you was the job we were able to get. And every time we see you, there's a background level of threat that it could be taken away from us on your own flight of whimsy. Just understand that the chance interactions, they have never made our day, will never make our day. They only make your day, because for you, nothing bad can come from them, okay? We're not hoping to have a chance interaction that makes our day. We're hoping that we don't have an interaction that ruins our lives. If you want people back in the office, fine. We are required to do what you tell us. If you want to keep our job, that is how this works. But don't try to gaslight and convince us that it's like what we wanted too, and that it makes us happy, okay? But you're just gonna have to deal with that icky feeling you get from ordering us to do that. We are not shouldering that.
And on top of all that, you can keep wearing your favorite sweatpants.
Looking good.
Let's get together real quick for a debrief.
I'm free now. Let's jump in. Hi.
Hey.
So what do we think?
I think it's ready.
Great.
I'll prep it for the presentation.
All right. Good luck.
Is this all supposed to be like metaphorical? How does this even work? This whole presentation is just a waste of time. Like, we understand what VR is, okay? You don't have to like dumb it down for us. Again, nobody's wearing a VR headset in this because they look stupid. And I mean, are there supposed to be like actual holograms being projected? It's so stupid. If you're going to get us to use a new platform for working on stuff, it needs to be easier than what we're already doing, okay? Like, secretaries went from handwriting out memos to using a typewriter because it is much faster to use a typewriter than it is to write something out by hand. And then we went from typewriters to word processing software on PCs because that is dramatically more efficient than using a typewriter, because you can go back and fix things, you can edit things, you can print off multiple copies. Like, it's obvious why it is better to use a personal computer to make a document than to use a typewriter. Like, that's obvious, okay? This is not obvious to me how this is better than like emailing them a link to the presentation where they can just like click around while they're having their coffee or whatever. Okay. Like, what the fuck? Like we switched to email because it's faster than a paper memo. Like, it's obvious why. Like, you don't even have to explain to someone why it's better to type something on the computer than it is on a typewriter. Like, that's obvious. Okay. It's not immediately obvious to me how this would be better than any other way to work. And there are so many disadvantages to it, like from the expense of the hardware required, the massive amounts of tech troubleshooting that's going to happen, because guess what? It's 2026 and most people still cannot figure out muting and unmuting in a Zoom call or like a Microsoft Teams meeting, okay? And you want them to like figure out how to fit like a VR headset on? I don't think so. That would be the biggest waste of time, okay? Like, everyone, you'd have to have like trainings so that everyone can learn how to like use the damn thing, and they're still not going to understand it. You can say it's intuitive all you want, but like, it's not. Like, it's just not intuitive to people. People have like tech brain, okay? And they think that like they think that if something's like touch whatever, that it's intuitive. Like, yeah, to a degree, but it's still weird. It never works as well as it needs to in order for it to be fully intuitive. Like, there's still going to be confusing shit. Also, the fact that it's made by Meta, do I need to say anything else? Yeah. So why would this be better then? Like, you're going to have all this really expensive tech. You're going to have all these VR headsets. Is the company going to pay for those? You're going to have all this wasted time trying to troubleshoot the damn things. Are you gonna like have each employee fitted for one? Like, for what? So you can be a cartoon character at work? It's not a compelling product, Mark. Like, how is it going to increase productivity to have people be a cartoon character at work? Like, how is it obvious to me that this is not a compelling product, but it's not obvious to an organization with like the resources and funding and personal data trove that Meta has? I don't get it. You know what though? Like, maybe it's an idea that just needs like some more time to cook. So like, let's revisit this at Meta Connect 2022, where they gave further details on the metaverse. Are you ready? Let's look at it. I'm sure it's like so good now.
Hey, we're here together in Horizon, and this is the first time that we've done this at Connect. And this is a preview of our next generation of avatars. They're so much more expressive and detailed than anything else today, and they have this unique meta style to them. Now, it's a lot of work to build AI to auto-generate these for billions of people, and then give everyone the tools to make sure that your avatar feels like your own. But I'm excited to start rolling these out later next year on phone.
He thinks billions of people are gonna
phones, VR headsets, and more. So, while I'm excited for this next generation of avatars, we are also seeing a lot of developers and partners building great experiences with our current generation of avatars as well. So now, let's meet up with Igarim, who leads our avatars work, to discuss the latest on our avatars and what you can do with them. Hey, Igarim.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, want to update everyone on the latest with the avatars ecosystem?
Yes, we have so many exciting things going on. Our first milestone is making it so you could use your avatar across all of our apps and in VR. The new Meta Account Center, it already allows you to have one or multiple avatars, so you could show up however you want. And if you have one avatar you really like, you can now easily sync it across all the apps and in Horizon.
Nice. All right, let's talk a bit more about the integrations that we're building for the apps.
Already see avatars showing up in stickers, stories, comments, and more across Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, and in the future, WhatsApp. And we're working on bringing them more to life through animation and to more places like, for example, Reels. We want you to be able to use avatars anywhere you want to express yourself.
This looks like shit. How is this the best that you could do in the year of our Lord 2022? Why would anyone be excited about this? Why would anyone want this? Why would anyone want to watch a reel of your avatar doing stupid dance? Why? How does this make you feel connected to anything human? It doesn't. It's so deeply, profoundly stupid. Can we talk about the shoulder to waist ratio on Mark's avatar here? It's certainly very generous. I bet he gave himself the old Cyberpunk 2077 treatment below the belt too. They spent $80 billion on this.
Also improving the core avatars themselves across the whole family of apps.
Mark, I'm sure you've seen the new face shapes we introduced earlier this year. As well as cochlear implants, over-the-ear hearing aids, and wheelchairs.
Yeah, and we have some big improvements to representation coming too, with more options for body types as well as shaders for more realistic skin. There's one more feature coming soon that's probably the most requested feature on our roadmap. Legs.
Legs. The most requested feature.
Legs!
The most requested feature.
I know you've been waiting for this.
I think everyone has been waiting for this. But seriously, the legs are hard, which is why other virtual reality systems don't have them either. If it's rendered in the wrong place, then it just feels terrible and it breaks the whole feeling of presence and immersion. So that's why we started off showing just controllers, but not your whole arms.
Yeah, if the system showed my elbow in the wrong place, it would feel like my arm was broken.
Yeah, but as we got better at tracking and predicting your arm position, then we can add your whole arms to the avatar stack in addition to your hands. And now we're doing the same with legs.
And now we're getting ready to launch the first full-body avatars.
Yeah, so with standalone virtual reality headsets, understanding your leg position is surprisingly difficult because of occlusion. So if your legs are under a desk or if your arms block your view of them, then your headset can't see them directly and you need to build an AI model to predict your whole body position.
Yeah, if only there were another way to display your whole body and face, like that had realistic skin. But currently, it's not possible with today's technology. You have to build an AI model to show legs. So it's the only option. Otherwise, like, you just can't capture the whole human body and experience and expression. There's no technology available as of yet that can do that. Yeah, you got to build an AI model. You know, you can't use your actual body. You got to like chop it up, 3D reprint it, spit it back out, golden. Cause like there's just no other way. You know, that's why VR doesn't do legs. But we gotta use VR, right? Cause damn it, Meta sells VR headsets. Zucky needs his new pair of shoes for his legs.
And this really needs to work reliably, so it just feels natural.
Yeah, so that's...
Yeah, because like, when I saw this, I was like, wow, certainly very natural. I feel connected and present with this. It's so bad.
We're going to bring legs to Horizon first, and we're going to keep bringing them to more and more experiences over time as we improve our technology stack.
And we will bring new tech that lets developers implement custom avatar actions and behaviors for the experiences they want to create. That's coming next year, too, and I'm looking forward to seeing what all of you will build.
All right, thanks for stopping by, Igaram.
We have a lot to do, so I'll see you in the next review.
Great, see ya. Avatars are going to be central to how we express ourselves in the future.
Sure. Okay. They spent $80 billion on this, and it looks this shitty. This is what Meta was doing. This. It's been a year since you announced it. Also, that thing they showed, that wasn't even like the actual avatar thing, because it didn't work yet. That was like actually hand animated. And it still looked like shit. How is your conclusion to the fact that VR doesn't work with legs, that you need to build an AI model so that you can predict where your legs would be? What the fuck is happening? This is what they were farting out at us, thinking that anybody in their right mind would be remotely interested in this utterly stupid idea. And I want you to keep that in mind the next time they're telling you about how good their AI is, you know, that doesn't do anything useful right now, but like in the future, you know, it's going to be scary. Like our AI is going to be scary good. It's going to be so good, you guys. Like, it's gonna be so good. We can't go down that rabbit hole right now. It's a whole different video. You know, and despite the obvious shittiness of all of this and absurdity of it and the ridiculousness of the idea as a whole, contemporaneous coverage of it by journalists, basically it would just repeat everything that Zuckerberg said to them as if like it was just true. Like, just like, yeah, sounds legit. Like, let's look at a few articles that were published in the Wall Street Journal at the time. I fucking love the Wall Street Journal. They routinely publish the dumbest, most infantile takes you can imagine. It's amazing. They never question any business executives or push back on any outlandish claims or any like future looking statements. All they'll ever do is add like artificially flavored critical thinking style flavoring, you know, where it kind of sounds like they're being skeptical of the latest vacuous turd being sharded out by the tech bros at us, but then it just like sublimates into a vapor and like wafts away. like you actually thought the packaging said chocolate chip muffins, but it actually says like chocolatey flavored chip muffin style baked dessert. That's what it's like. That's the critical thinking in the Wall Street Journal. Okay, let me just get you some of these articles here. Okay, I have some choice quotes that I'm going to read to you from December 2nd of 2021 by Megan Bobrowski. Title: Metaverse emerges as promising yet uncertain new world for investors. A portfolio manager at Fidelity Investments called the metaverse another avenue of growth that gives added reason to invest in successful tech names. The Blue Chip Growth Fund he manages has holdings in companies like Nvidia. See, did you see what I mean? It's all the same people. Don't you remember Nvidia? Remember, like, they used to be the cool guys that made graphics cards, and now they're like, you know, the lizards that are like gonna destroy the world. That's so cool. Yeah, like Nvidia, Meta, and Microsoft. Okay, and then here's our critical thinking style flavoring. Ready? But he also urges caution, suggesting that in many cases, the jury is out on what the concrete business opportunities, there's no concrete in the metaverse, concrete business opportunities for companies will be. I think it's very easy to get caught up in the hype of the metaverse, but what does it really mean in terms of cash flows to businesses at the end of the day? Investors are excited about the theme, said Matthew Ball, a venture capitalist who teamed up with investment firm Roundhill Financial Inc. in June to launch a fund known as Meta ETF. Mr. Ball says that ultimately the metaverse will represent 10 to 20% of the world economy. So, I mean, like, incredible. That's awesome, you guys. And then here's another gem, okay, from the Wall Street Journal. This is from December 29th, by Laura Foreman. The metaverse isn't quite ready for you, but your investment is welcome, which is kind of our skepticism flavoring right there. It's in the title. Whether or not cryptocurrencies eventually replace fiat ones like the US dollar, as enthusiasts predict, the blockchain technology they are built on will no doubt rule the metaverse. Cryptocurrency may still seem, well, cryptic to you, but it is a good analogy for investing in the metaverse itself, unintentionally, correct? You don't necessarily have to be sure of its destination to bet it is likely to take off. Perhaps real estate is a good analogy. The best investments are often in the neighborhood you believe will become something in 10 years, not the neighborhood that is already something today. Naturally, investment firms are already buying up real estate in the metaverse. Publicly traded tokens.com not only invests in crypto assets linked to non-fungible tokens, but is also buying up virtual metaverse land. In a recent Wall Street Journal report, the CEO likened buying metaverse real estate today to buying land in Manhattan 250 years ago. You know, I'm always hearing that, like, the best time to start saving for retirement is like 5 generations ago, but I don't know. I think I missed the boat on that one. For companies not yet in the metaverse, it's easy to see where they could find value. Teleport to a private bubble, as Mark Zuckerberg recently described the experience, and you could one day find online travel agents selling you trips to remote real-life locales. Owners of virtual homes in the metaverse might rent them out on platforms like Airbnb. You know, whatever your feelings on automated home flippers, the algorithmic assessment of property values would be well suited to virtual properties. That means that even if the concept of using the metaverse still seems remote to you, your investment in it could be inevitable. Pretty much every tech company will want to find a way to adapt to it or risk fading in the real world. Wall Street Journal, December 2021. Based on that presentation that we were just looking at, they're like, yeah, people are going to want to buy Airbnbs. So I guess so, like, their avatar has a place to sleep when their avatar goes on vacation, right? Like, that makes sense, right? Because your avatar needs to sleep, right? Because it's gonna get tired when it goes on vacation. Because, you know, you can't just like program your avatar to not need sleep. You know, that's no. Like, it's gonna need this place to sleep. So you're gonna want to find an Airbnb. Hopefully this Airbnb doesn't have any like virtual cleaning fees or whatever, or like virtual cameras to put like virtual porn of my virtual avatar on like the virtual dark web or something, though, because like that's virtually an invasion of privacy. I'm just saying. And like my avatar is gonna be hung, okay? So they're gonna want that. I'm gonna have to cut that out of the public YouTube version of that, I think. Can you say hung on YouTube? I don't know. It's gonna have huge balls and be really hung. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. Like, it's gonna have value because all the other avatars are gonna want to come to my avatar's Airbnb room, obviously, you know. Jesus Christ. Like how do you write that in your article? Like, don't you oh my god. Okay, here's another angle that you'll often see with AI today, and I just want to note it here, okay? That is where they pitch a technology that's not ready yet and never will be, that people don't want, but like they use fear on it, right? Which you would think would, and that's another like critical thinking style flavoring, okay? Many people today worry that Facebook and other tech titans already have too much influence over our world. In the metaverse future, the virtual world we live in could be theirs. Like, do you see how like it kind of seems like it's criticizing it, except like if you're afraid of something, then that means that like you think it's actually going to be a thing. But like, the issue I have with the metaverse at that time and the issue I have with it now is it's not going to be a thing. You're just saying it is a thing and getting people to waste money on it, saying that it's a thing, even though like it's not a thing and it doesn't work the way that you say it's going to work. So like, I'm not afraid of it. But like when they do shit like this, that's kind of hyping it up in like a backwards sort of way. It's almost like reverse psychology. You know, same thing with AI. Like, you know, if you're afraid of AI, then that means that you think their AI actually works the way that they say it does, even though like none of it does, right? Right. So like, let's summarize the story of the failure of the metaverse, right? So Meta spent $80 billion on an idea that was obviously never going to catch on, right? Because it's something that basically nobody wants and has zero or negative value to the intended audience. Like, the idea literally had no legs. And despite it looking like shit, Meta and every tech bro and trend-chasing desperate corporation tried to gaslight us into thinking it didn't look like shit or looked like something we wanted, all while journalists questioned absolutely nothing about the wild claims being made and instead engaged in outright journalistic malpractice, mindlessly repeating every press release in a way that would have been less shameful if they'd actually been paid for doing that advertising. And I would just say, just because all of these sources are saying it's gonna be a thing, if it looks like it's not gonna be a thing, then it's just not, okay? There's just a lot of garbage out here, all right? I wonder if there's a similar product line that's engaging in this same type of shit right now, and I wonder if that's gonna be a future Mac to the Future episode, right? It's gonna be awesome. It's not gonna be shitty at all. But I'm sorry about my lack of expressiveness. I don't know. Please don't. Bye. Why is my hair so weird? Liar, liar, bullshit supplier, plundered